In this presentation, I will introduce my educational and awareness video on climate change. In the next few slides, I will cover the context, evidence, critical reflection, aims, and audience. So, first, what is climate change? The steady change in the average temperature and weather on Earth is termed climate change. Although there have been changes in Earth's climate throughout its history, the current warming is occurring at a rate that has not been seen in the last 10,000 years. The primary cause of climate change has been human activity, particularly the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. Consequences of climate change. Environmental effects. NASA Science has reported that the temperature is rising globally. This is largely driven by increase in carbon dioxide emission into the atmosphere. The glaciers are thinning, the sea level and acidity of ocean are rising. Health effects. Storms, intense heat waves, floods, droughts, and wildfires are among the weather and climate events that are becoming more common and intense as climatic conditions change. The risk of non communicable illnesses and infectious disease are all increased by these weather and climate related hazards, which have an impact on health both directly and indirectly. Socio-economic effects. Millions of vulnerable people are facing disproportionate difficulties because of the growing effects of climate change, including extreme weather events, health effects, food, water and livelihood security, forced migration and displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other associated dangers. Furthermore, a great deal of land is becoming unsuitable for food production due to rising temperatures, altered rain patterns, and a shortage of water. Paris Agreement. It is a legally binding international treaty on climate change with its goal to limit global warming to below 1.5 degrees Celsius. If crossed, can cause severe climate impact like rainfall, drought, and heat waves. It brings all nations together to combat climate change. The United Kingdom has pledged to cut emission by 68% by 2030 and reach net zero by 2050. Climate change and the NHS. Climate change is a serious threat to both our world and our health. The public, the NHS, and our patients are all directly and immediately impacted by the rapid change in the environment. In response to the serious and increasing threat that climate change poses to health, the National Health Service committed to becoming the first health service in the world to achieve carbon net zero in October 2020. NHS carbon emission. With nearly 20 million tons of carbon from NHS England alone, the NHS is the largest public greenhouse gas emitter in the UK, accounting for over 5% of all emissions. An estimated 5% of all traffic on the roads is associated with the NHS. Key source of emission. Prescribing. Around 20% of NHS England's carbon footprint is thought to come from prescribing drugs, of which 79% are used in primary care and community services, 13% in acute care, and 5% in mental health service. The context in which healthcare is provided has an impact on the environment. The carbon footprint of GP appointment is 6 kg carbon dioxide emission compared to 708 kilograms of carbon dioxide emission is of elective inpatient. Approximately 3.5% of all road travel in England is comprised of over 9.5 billion vehicle miles associated to the NHS annually. Critical reflection. Climate change is affecting the balance of nature, thereby risking human beings. Shifting weather patterns can cause asthma attacks and other respiratory and cardiovascular health problems. NHS produces around 4% of UK's carbon emission. This warrants the need for more investment in educating healthcare staff about carbon emission and sustainability. Aims and audience. Raise awareness among NHS staff of carbon emission from NHS, inspire NHS staff to engage in measures to reducing carbon emission, encourage NHS staff to participate in sustainable initiatives recommended by NHS England, promote practical options for NHS healthcare staff to cut carbon emission. How can we help the NHS reduce our carbon footprint? As healthcare professionals, we can get in touch with our sustainability or estates team to understand what projects are running at our organization and how they can apply to our work. Healthier planet supports healthier people. Our health and our climate are intrinsically linked. Why does it matter? The warmest temperatures on record and unheard of flooding incidents have been observed in recent years. More than any other region, the Southeast experienced 530 additional deaths because of the 2020 heat waves. Actions to achieving NHS net zero carbon emission. Reduce energy consumption. Turn off monitors, printers, and enable automated sleep mode. Turn off lights overnight during daylight when rooms not in use. Close doors and control temperature. Reuse. Try bringing reusable cups, cutlery, and bottles to minimize the number of single-use items you use. You may replace single-use plastics with more environmentally friendly options. Recycle and sort your waste. Whether clinical waste, paper, or food waste, ensure you're using the right bin. If sorted properly, most NHS waste do not go to landfill. Help maximize what we recycle and make sure you dispose all waste, clinical and non-clinical, using the right bin. Replace a car journey. Walk, cycle, or use public transport where possible. Additionally, beneficial to the environment and to your health is active travel. Taking the bus or carpooling will also be beneficial. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed learning about NHS carbon footprint and what you can do in your own work area. Critical reflection. In the next few slides, I am going to explain my critical reflection on the task covering topic finding, choosing the audience and aim, targeting the audience, making the clip, impacting the audience, and learning. Topic findings. Climate change is an enormous and interesting topic related to current times. Climate change plays a vital role globally based on what happens locally. I found it very interesting learning about climate change and how NHS staff can make a huge difference. Thinking differently can develop an eco-friendly new way of working. Audience and aim. I work as an occupational therapist in an acute hospital and I have worked with different healthcare professionals. I was able to relate my experience and recommend practical tips during this presentation. I know how hard it can be for clinicians to work on autopilot mode and do the same things that deep rooted way. Targeting the audience. I tried to break the topic in a way that was simple and relatable. I came to understand how clinicians on the ground level can work sustainably in everyday life. I felt very positive and light-hearted that I was able to break down this complex information into small, bite-sized information to ease understanding this better. Production. Making the video was great fun and I enjoy creative projects like this. This is the first time I have used a video editing software. Choosing the right images for the right slides, playing the background music, and talk over was interesting. Lining them up to all make sense was testing my patience. Testing. I tested this video with my colleagues in my team at work. They had lots of questions. It was a good sign to know that they engaged in the topic. I added many colorful illustrations and more pictures after testing and gaining feedback. Learning. This is a huge learning curve for me where I have learned how scientific knowledge is translated into accessible material to NHS healthcare staff. I think it would be good to use this information with wider audience like in schools and universities. Simplify science without losing meaning. In my presentation, I have used the 4 R's to make it easy to understand and follow. I was careful in using simple language and avoided jargons to make it more enjoyable and easier to make sense. A lot of planning and organizing also helped make the videos and align them accordingly. Thank you. I would love to do it again and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you very much for watching.